Okay, I'll call the October 16, 2023 meeting of the Fairport IDA to order and ask if there's any public comment for the board. Seeing no one and hearing no one, I'll close public comment. We'll move on to approval of minutes. We have 3 different minutes to approve, starting with the regular meeting from September 18th. Motion to approve those minutes. Any questions or discussion on any of that? Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Second.
Is there any questions or discussion on those minutes? All in favor? Aye. Then the next is the audit committee meeting that was held on September 18th as well. And the committee members, Donna Stefano, Leslie White, and Kevin Clark were in attendance for that. So a motion on those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Then the next approval we have is the special board meeting of October 12th, 2023, which we were all in attendance for that special meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
I'll move to approve those.
Second. Okay. Any questions or discussion on those?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving into our financials, we'll start with resolution 2023-10, authorizing payment of the IDA bills.
I reviewed bills and I would pay them.
Is there a second for that?
A second.
Any questions or anything Martha that wants to add on any of those bills?
No, we're wrapping up with Josh Landscape. We have one more session with them in November. Hopefully we're going to have the DPW out there to so they can work collaboratively on the fall cleanup. And then that care of the butterfly garden will go back to the DPW. Ed and I are drafting the license agreement to put that back in their care. Black Dog will be wrapping up with them in mid-November with regard to the social media. And you can see the final payment to Passero and then to VME as well.
All right, any other questions from anyone? All in favor? Aye. Now we have our balance sheets, P&L.
So we see these quarterly. These will be our year ends, that the auditors will begin working with. So you've got the balance sheet and the income statement this month.
Any discussion or questions regarding any of that? P&L or balance sheets? Okay. Investment reports, the CDs as well as Tompkins.
I did update the cash balances on page 14 to just kind of bump the estimate for parking lot and lighting.
Anything else financial? Old business. Any IDA old business?
I did not have any.
Anyone have anything? Any follow-ups or questions?
Would we consider old business the kind of continuing the conversation that we had in our special meeting
Oh,
around the parking lot and
Yep.
yes. Mhm.
any sort of interim options we might have while we put a pin in the bigger investment.
Well, I can mention one of the things that we were looking at, and are still trying to get a determination if the project is going back to planning board for change of use for having pickleballs. And if that is the case, is there a possibility that incentive zoning can be included in that to
Oh,
to
that's
have
a great
that,
idea.
to have the developer help with our project through incentive zoning.
Okay.
So the initial reaction was no, it was not coming back for a change in use. But there's a couple more stones that need to be turned over before we can say that for sure. But we thought that might be a good opportunity to bring in funding partners.
Right, especially when they're asking for their waiver,
Again,
probably because
Again.
we are having this parking lot, yeah.
right.
That's a great idea.
So, but is it going to work? We don't know that yet. But that's something that still that Martha tried to have a meeting today and that didn't happen.
Right.
To get a
We'll
gauge
be
for
calling.
if the
The
village
process.
would be
What the-
open to it.
Yeah, in the process, and so is the process going to work, and then logistically, is the board willing to do that? So that's one of the things we were talking about. But I think as we talked in our special meeting, a lot of it is going to do what can we do to help with our funding situation. So just the kind of thoughts that us have. That's the initial one, but there could be other opportunities. I think we'll be talking with the village, and we're talking about having our special meeting with or open houses. We've been calling it with the other boards and stuff like that. Again, going back to people that have been involved in joint boards meetings in the past, what kind of creative juices can flow in a meeting like that.
Right.
Help us there.
I don't know. I don't know how feasible this is, but I was thinking about how do we move people around in the village when there's huge events, right? And I was thinking maybe some sort of a shuttle, 2 days a week, Friday and Saturday nights, where with what we've seen data wise, where there might be peak windows of times where that type of help, and I'm just kind of spitballing, but envisioning it going from the cannery parking lot to across the street here at the landing, maybe back here and then back, and just for a limited amount of time and a limited number of evenings, something like that where we could potentially offset some of the challenges. I don't know how feasible it is.
In lieu of parking.
In addition to what is going on, while we hold off or continue our path forward with the developments on the parking lot, just thinking of ways where if the reality of that impact isn't going to be felt until the spring, then how can we help ensure this is less of a deterrent for people to frequent those businesses in the cannery and the surrounds? I was just trying to think of something like, and again, cost-wise, I don't know. I don't have a concept of what that would cost to do, but I'm picturing one of those shorter shuttle buses. Maybe they seat 15, 20 people. I've seen them go down Potter during Music Fest, right, where it's going from Minerva Land parking lot.
Very difficult time finding shuttles this year.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just one of those.
Bus driver shortage.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe that's what it was.
Schools can't find them to drive to school.
So that may be an issue, or the cost associated with it might be an issue, but I was thinking maybe we approach businesses that would benefit from something like that. And we, as the sort of facilitator of that discussion, see if there would be some sort of an interest in folks participating in the cost.
Did we talk about at our special meeting about the valet parking that they instituted?
I don't recall
I don't
if we did
think
this
so.
last meeting.
they started a valet parking program. They,
The
you know,
cannery.
whether the developer plus the business owners are being assessed for that. And it did not go well just because of between the landlord and the tenants and lack of communication, things like that. But the way that the valet parking was being handled, my point of going up the first night that went up, asked where they were parking the car. I was
Right.
hoping to hear assumption or because that was the thing that was thrown around with the church or across the street in the other parking lot. The answer was wherever we can find a spot. So the idea of this valet parking, the way it works is it's for the convenience of the restaurant owner that he can just give his keys away and then somebody else will drive it around the parking lot waiting for somebody to pull out and they can park in that spot. They also coned off a section for their valet parking cars. So for net parking gain, it was 0.
Wow, so there was
But-
no place to actually put the cars?
No,
Okay.
no. So the challenge is getting people together, and I mean, it was the challenge from day one when Martha, wanted to step into this, is trying to get consensus from anyone.
Right, right.
That, we need to work together for this. In the meantime, it's not been mitigated as quickly as we-
Do they ever have meetings where like all the folks in the cannery? Is there?
I believe many of the tenants of the cannery are getting to know each other a lot better right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe more.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, they hear what you're saying, and it's funny because Iron Smoke did that. No, Calabrese did that. Who owns the Iron Smoke building? Trip Hammer and the like, and he did it. And he was calling it
The Don.
the vehicle was called the Don, and it was an extended golf cart, and it was for the blue collar district, is what he kind of his entertainment area, and so he was running people around, and there was no charge, and drivers were getting things like tips.
Okay.
I don't know how, and it was primarily to go from Liftbridge Lane places up to there. He didn't do it very long.
Okay.
So we don't have evidence necessarily that there's like a shortage of parking, right? Like there's not people parking illegally in places that they shouldn't park.
They don't, several people say people just don't, they cancel their reservations when they can't find parking. I've heard from 3 businesses there that people
But it's
just,
because they won't walk from the library
Yeah.
parking, right? Is that your point? Like there is a spot in the
Right.
village, it's
Right.
just not close
It's just
enough.
far.
And that those
Which is funny
signs,
because we'll walk through them all twice.
Right.
as long as you could see them all.
Like
But the signs that the village put up in all the parking lots is supposed to tell people that. That if you want to go to 54 North Main Street, there's a ring there that says that that's 4 minutes. Something. I haven't heard any feedback on that.
I found a couple weeks ago on a Saturday we were up there that there was a sign put out there. So I parked in our public parking lot across from the cannery, and there was a sign put up there like pedestrians walk this way.
use crosswalk.
Yeah, use crosswalk. And I found that very effective. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish left up to the crosswalk, and then there was a sign that reminded me like the crosswalk's right there. Like it was effective. So I'm wondering if there's anything that we're allowed to do in that area that would divert pedestrian traffic up to that crosswalk as well. Is an interim solution.
For the safety concerns?
Yeah.
Well, but are we, I think we're talking about the quantity of parking. Right? It's
Yeah,
how-
sorry,
how to
I'm
talk about
mixing subjects.
yes,
I'm mixing-
that's okay. No, I just wanted to clarify that. But is there something that we could do within our own parking lot that would tell people where parking is? I think that's what the village signs were meant to do, right?
I think mud and slush is gonna make it easier soon enough.
Not to walk from Village Landing parking lot up there.
Sidewalks will be plowed better than.
I don't know, I just don't feel that this is something that we should be taking on the whole.
Right.
And frustrated that there aren't people willing to just step up.
Well, you know, if we had been able to pull people together 6 months ago when we started this process, you know, we kind of, you know, and now pickleball, if we're able to, you know, they're not gonna want to, that's not gonna be any easier for them or anybody else going in there. If they think on top of it, there's gonna be the added support for parking when that, all across the street. On that side, there's not, nobody's contributing. It's gonna be hard. I get it. But what's gonna happen if, you know, we don't do it?
And maybe commercial office space is the answer.
The conundrum. No easy answers. And our parking lot wasn't even gonna be an answer.
Right.
We're
Yeah,
just
it's gonna be
Just
safe.
part of it, right. So anyway, to answer your question, Rob, so there are a couple things that we're talking about. We hope to have a couple more meetings and get some ideas and ultimately maybe if it's our November open house meeting, we just kind of shift, we present our data, but then we also shift to, what do y'all think?
Yeah,
Is that what the open house meeting is? That I got the email of it and wasn't sure
Oh,
what the open house meeting is. Kind of dumb question.
no, about sharing we had talked about bringing together the village trustees, the planning.
Is that what
board.
that is?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was something different.
No, she dubbed it an open house.
Oh,
and
okay.
then, yeah,
Sorry.
But
It could be joint
That's-
board, but it's not
Yeah,
a true
I-
joint
but I
board.
can't call
Open
it
house is a
Right.
great name for it.
Well,
Okay.
it's sort of, because it's by invitation, so,
Okay.
By invitation and presentation.
yes. it-
All right. So
But
that
again,
makes
That's what- I'm
we
sorry,
understand
No, that was my
Yeah.
lapse there. Okay.
Okay.
What's the date on that again?
15th of November, the chair and I have to confirm with, he's gonna work with the
With Brian,
November 15th. Correct. Yeah.
it's a tentative.
Okay.
tentative.
So any more on that or any other old business? Okay, let's move on to the Finance Committee charter. So Martha, do you want to do the intro and lead into that?
Sure. Right now, currently, the Fairport Local Development Corporation is the only one of the entities that has a finance committee. We talked about, at our last meeting about, would that be of value to our other committees? For example, when we're doing the budget, we call together currently the audit committee, but the audit committee has a specific charter. So we thought, we talked about creating a finance committee for each of the entities. I think, and what we did is we just took the draft of the LDC charter and, put it in the format for each of the entities. So again, it makes more sense that when we're doing budgeting, we're talking with the finance committee, not our audit committee. The audit committee engages the auditors, they review the audit and accept it and recommend it to the board. It's very finite, actually. So it was actually doing things outside of its charter. So this is before you to see if you have an interest in adopting a finance committee charter for each of the other entities. I might want to do it twice a year, not less than. It does currently say shall meet at such times as deemed advisable by the chair, current language, but not less than twice a year.
Do you think it's just once a year? Or not even required?
Well, I would say once is enough
Yeah.
for the budget,
Okay.
but,
There may be some capital planning, you know,
Yeah.
and also with,
Oh,
you
good
mentioned bonding. So those
Yeah,
are special
okay.
meetings. So it could be up to 3 times a year. I
okay,
think that
so
the
the
way
two
it's-
is not, okay.
Yeah, I think the way it's written is
Mhm.
fine.
If you look at the committee membership, independent members, finance committee, and the independent ones are defined in here too, aren't they, by?
Which is, it's just kind of strange wording because independent, we're the board members and we're the independents.
Correct.
Independent is defined somewhere in here. There's something about it, they cannot have been employed
Right.
by us. Where is that within here?
That's the, that's the independent.
That's, it's
Or
in the
that's-
bylaws.
It's in the bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
The
conflict.
definition
It's
of
either that or the
independent.
conflict policy.
Can we talk about having non-board members as part of this committee as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
You're allowed.
So that is not the independent.
that's the
independent
non-independent.
then?
Yes.
That sounds weird.
It does sound weird.
There's somewhere where it's defined.
Composition and
Yes.
selection.
In the audit
Audit.
committee, it defines independent. Must not have been a compensated employee of the agency within the last 2 years, so I couldn't retire and come back to the audit committee. Must not have been employed by an entity that received goods or service in excess of $15,000 from the agency, so you couldn't put a BME person on. Are not relatives of an executive officer of the agency, so my daughter Claire. Have not in the last 2 years been lobbyists paid by a client to influence the management decisions of the agency. So that makes you independent.
That should probably carry over into the LDC finance, or
The finance charter,
the finance charter, that should be modified
yes,
to include that then,
I agree,
just so we're consistent across the board.
right. So this has, we've been talking about, so it's 3 members. The members just have to be, they are not necessarily board members, correct, Ed?
Mhm, correct.
Correctly, but are not required to be board members, so.
Nor residents of the village of Fairport.
It didn't specify that, but I think you have to have, knowledge that is relevant to the, isn't there some description about?
It's not, in what we have looked at, there's no description.
No, it's in, the audit committee has a description about that they should have some financial background.
Yeah. Should we fix this up and bring it back next time?
And then, in the meantime, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have it mirror the audit
Yeah,
wording a little bit.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that'll mean we'll have to amend the charter for the finance committee for the LDC.
And that would not be a bad thing.
Correct.
Okay,
That's good.
Good.
So I did reach out to former Director Ken Rohr to see if he would be interested in joining us on a committee as a non-independent member.
Mhm.
And he would be very happy to.
oh,
Oh,
awesome,
good.
It's a little boring down there on the lake.
good.
Something to do.
So, and he certainly, you've heard enough about Ken to know his background in municipal finance, and it's just,
That's great.
yeah, it'll be very good for us. So at that point, then, this is a separate committee, correct?
It'll be
Yes.
separate, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
because at one point we talked about audit / finance.
Yeah, I don't
But we'll go
like.
separate. No, I
Yep.
think it's cleaner, right, if we're separate. I was just looking to get off of audit.
Well, yes, you could. Well, you
No,
could now.
Ken,
That's a good thing.
but Ken can't be on that.
Sure, you can be on both.
That was, that, we'll talk about
Was
that.
it so horrible?
Oh, my God.
But,
Well, when I was working.
yes, that's right. Now that you're on the
Now that I'm
dole.
laid off.
So next month, we'll come back with revised language, and at that time, we'll maybe think about appointing the members, right?
Is that good with everybody? Yeah, because we're not
That's good
making a
news.
race or a big hurry. to
No.
do it, so. Okay. So that's tabled. Next item under new business is the Black Dog contract for compliance.
Right, right. So they delivered to us an ADA compliant best efforts, WCAG, whatever is required. And so because the website's ever changing and evolving, you have to ensure that that continues on with all the new pages and changes and so forth. So they made a proposal, I'm recommending the quarterly proposal that at $750 a quarter, that they do that thorough audit of the website, and it classifies, what's, serious, what's helpful, there's various classifications for ADA issues. It identifies them, doesn't address them. This is just the ADA audit. of
Which are the
website.
ones that,
Which-
there were people out there cherry picking and going with frivolous lawsuits, right?
Correct,
Exactly.
yep.
Exactly. So I recommend to the board that we we approve a quarterly ADA compliance contract with Black Dog.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And the last agenda item for new business is the social media and the website proposal from that graph.
Right. Thank you. I think I've steered, Leslie knows what's involved with maintaining the website, the social media and everything. I think I sent you over an email of all the things that we had to do communicating with Black Dog, just to update on the Section 8 program and so forth. It is it's a good amount of time. Like I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it well. So right now we have Black Dog, if they were going to make that transition for us. But what we found is we knew this. We were going to bring it local. For example, one of the posts was the Section 8 wait list was closing, and they chose a photo of a village trustee's home to illustrate it. So I saw that at 6 a.m. and was able to grab that. But having it done locally, we won't have those types of issues. It's also going to be able to be face-to-face. So ideally, we would have done an RFP for this, but I feel it's time to bring it home, and we don't have time to do an RFP. So I'm proposing I reached out to Pat Rapp. Many of you know Pat from her work at the library as well as the Public Arts Committee. And I asked her to present a proposal to help us out in the interim. So we've got Black Dog on board through the middle of November. So if the board's amenable, we bring Pat on to make the transition, and we have that overlap. I don't expect Pat wouldn't be doing she's not going to be duplicating the work, but during this transition, there'd be hours she'd spend getting to know the website, understanding what we're expecting of it as well. So she's put together a proposal for you that outlines her experience. She literally was early in on websites and has built them from the ground up. She's familiar and has worked in WordPress, which is our website. We've had discussions about the proper size of photos for mobile versus website, and she's really really terrific to work with. So I'd like to ask your consideration for bringing Pat on. I think my notes initially, I didn't think that the 5 hours would be, I thought maybe in the 5-hour range.
Yeah, she's got 5 to 10.
Yeah, but, you know, in discussions with board member White, you know, we're talking about the website, Facebook for Section 8 and OSAD, Twitter, Instagram. There's LinkedIn. We may be 10 hours a week. I think it's important. I don't know how long that would go on. Because again, we haven't done this before, but I think we're in the, hey, look at us phase, and we want to be out there a lot. So, you know, we may end up at 10 hours a week. But perhaps, Leslie, would you like to offer comment?
No, when I saw 5 hours a week, you know, for 4 channels for OSAD plus Section 8 plus the website, that felt like not nearly enough time. It takes longer to write short and snappy, you know, anyone can write, we all can write long. So I figured we were probably going to be closer to the 10, you know, until she gets herself a good rhythm. And so I just worried, I just wanted to put that out there as we talk about how much this will cost us on an annual basis. You know, when you look at the numbers per month. If it's worth the investment, we can't look homespun and, you know, we need to be out there,
Right.
you know,
This is for our investment.
exactly.
And her proposal is half of Black Dog.
I think it's, you know, it's reasonable, absolutely.
And this is all in. There's no other charges.
No, not,
The photography.
I mean, we would
Right,
provide that.
but that's already in the budget.
And it's just content, right? Like there's not gonna be any fiddling with our branding.
no, she has the brand guy. I'm sorry, sorry. No, she has the brand guy, and she understands our desire to, she understands. She said we want to be friendly but not silly. I'm like, yes, that's right.
Our voice.
Our voice.
She's probably gonna be the one who really owns our voice.
Yes, I think so. Mhm.
She knows us and she knows Fairport.
I think this makes sense. I mean, do we have any expectation in regards to thinking about different posts on all these different forums? What we would get weekly or monthly as far as a quantity?
Right. Right now with Black Dog, I believe it's, there's 10 posts a month. Then we had a separate section for ads.
Okay.
And I think that was 4. And, you know, it's in the contract. For example, when Jen wanted to promote her landlord, I said, take the budget from the LinkedIn and put that on the Section 8 Facebook and Instagram ads kind of thing. So, but I don't have the details right here, but it's specific. Yes.
And it would kind of mirror
Yes.
what we've already established.
Yes.
The cadence we've got now.
Yes.
And yeah, it might be good to get some analytics on it to track.
Yes.
That's right.
Does she mention? I'll ask her about the because we should be able to access the Google Analytics and so forth. I'll ask her about that. I'm confident. I mean, I can do emergency fixes to the website and so forth, and I can post calendar events, and those are great. But when I, for example, did the North Main parking lot page, that was pretty much a new page, and there's all this SEO kind of stuff that goes along with it. And that's the point of this. So that's what she'll be able to bring to us.
It would be great too to maybe have her come in when she gets rolling, come in maybe quarterly
Sure.
and talk to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I like the idea of having somebody in the backyard here do this.
Oh, absolutely.
So do we need to move to accept I'll move to accept
you.
your request,
The proposal.
proposal.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
This is going to help.
Yes, great.
All right. Anything else, new business idea? Nothing? Anyone? Okay, take a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you.